canvases I painted. I just spent the rain day on drip I can't afford, but that's the price.
Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to another video, and we are officially just over 8 weeks. I'm gonna give you guys a quick physique update because over the last week and a half, we've made some unreal progress.
I can see my face. I was chasing at the paper. Been all for the waiters, but everything again. Ain't nothing left to lose. I've been breaking rules. I've been making moves with everything to prove. Now it's going how I see it through my lens, but it's stuck in my head. I can't seem to get away from it. I went out of my way. I'm trying to feel the eye again. I've lost somewhere in my head. I've been out here all on my own.
Doesn't really get too much real than that. I am just over 8 weeks out from my first show, 15 weeks out from my second show.
I'm scared of being without you. Afraid I won't know.
I'm starting to feel the effects of prep. Pretty tired every day. When I would wake up, I would be like so excited to eat breakfast, but the coach last week took my morning carbs away, so really hard to like get up and then just eat like 2 whole eggs and some egg whites. Today I want to get into breaking through plateaus because I feel a lot of people start losing weight, they hit a plateau, they don't change for 2 or 3 weeks, and they either start making pointless decisions or just completely give up. So I'm gonna give you guys my 3 biggest tips that I personally use in competition and out of competition for breaking through that plateau when you're hitting it. So with that said, let's roll the intro. So let's get into tip number 1, which is the most obvious point. Eat less food, do more cardio. For the last 2.5 weeks, my weight has completely stayed the same, but I'm in a massive calorie deficit doing almost an hour and 20 minutes of cardio every single day. And if you take the pictures of 3 weeks ago and put them to today's pictures, there is night and day difference, even though my weight didn't necessarily change. Just because the weight on the scale isn't changing doesn't mean that your body is not changing, especially on the untested side. When you are playing with hormones, there are so many different factors that can cause you to hold on to some extra weight, some extra water retention. You could be growing into the show and putting on as much muscle as you are losing fat. Now I know that seeing the same weight on the scale can really play mind games with you, but if you just sit back and trust the process and say, look, I'm eating in a calorie deficit and I'm doing cardio, scientifically speaking, you will lose body fat. It may take 2 or 3 weeks, and that is why you can't just keep changing your diet, changing your training, changing your diet, changing your training. Just stay consistent because that weight has to come from somewhere, and as long as your protein's high enough and you're recovering, it's gonna be coming from fat. You just gotta wait it out. And that is probably the most straightforward answer. Now let's get into tip number 2, which is a little more difficult to manage, and that's your stress levels.
Tell that it annoys me if they ever get to know me. They tell me that you need me. The action didn't show it. I know that you play the angles, and I'm seeing through your motives. But the weight down on my shoulder, found a way to hold it. I can't keep my focus, better keep composure. Hard when I've been coping with all the pressure that I fed. Make it hard to hold my head, make it hard to get to sleep. Like I'm slipping from the edge, struggling to get a breath. Right the wrongs with the lead. Life is not a guarantee. Just dying by the clip.
Now, hitting a plateau because of stress is definitely possible, but a lot of people think that they're like, oh, I'm super stressed out, so I need to have pizza and chicken wings to reduce my stress. And guys, that is called emotional eating. You are doing yourself such a disservice. You need to learn how to manage your stress without indulging in junk food and just eating like shit to feel good. There's so many other ways to feel good than having to just eat like shit because you feel that is the reason for your plateau. all the Acne Attack skincare and the markplummer.com SARM and peptide orders out. We are going to be rebranding the SARMs and peptides. It will be redirected from the markplummer.com, but I'm actually making it its own entity, which basically means it's going to be completely rebranded. So same 98% purity, same third-party test, but it's just not going to be associated to the markplummer.com. I want the markplummer.com to have my merch, my personal training, and my plans. I want the Acne Attack skincare to be its own skincare line, and then I want the SARMs and peptides to be its own thing as well. I kind of want to break down the two different types of stress, because that is going to get us into point number 3, which is there is such thing as mental stress, which is a lot of what I have to deal with, which is constant customer service, running 3 different companies, posting 3 times a week on YouTube, brand deals, clients. It's so much mental exhaustion that I need to find ways to breathe and just relax, because when you're super stressed out, yeah, you're gonna have different hormone fluctuations, you're gonna hold more weight, and super high mental stress can cause you to hit a plateau and stop losing weight. The second type of stress is actually physical stress. I'm talking about these people that work 12 hours a day in manual labor, or they're just so mentally exhausted with their bodies. And you can actually achieve this during prep. Now, I know that I don't take any rest days when I compete. I train 7 days a week, every single day as hard as it can be. Cardio 7 days a week, twice a day, as well as eat very little food. And that can cause outrageous physical stress. And that is really when you're gonna start to see not only water weight, but your body and your overall look to deteriorate. How can we break through that plateau when you're dealing with such a depleted body? And that is where cheat meals come into play. 4 rice cakes, 1 scoop of vanilla, 1 scoop of chocolate protein, and then we're headed off to the gym. But I'm gonna get this third point in before we get to the gym, because it is that important. Almost as important as you hitting that subscribe button right now, especially if you guys like this video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the comment, help the algorithm. We are hitting 100,000 subscribers by the end of my last show, so let's make this shit happen. I know we got it, team! The best way that I can describe this is your body is like a phone battery. When I use my phone and it dies, it doesn't matter how much I'm gonna try to use my phone, it's fucking dead. And oftentimes, some people push themselves so hard that their body is just dead. It doesn't matter what they could possibly do, their body is so depleted and overworked that it is just gonna hold on to anything it does eat and store it as fat to use it as energy, because you're just so fucking depleted. You need to exhaust options 1 and 2. I don't want you motherfuckers saying, oh, I've overworked myself, so I need to eat a cheat meal. Bro, I'm doing an hour and 20 minutes of cardio, eating 1,900 calories, and I'm not even at that state yet. So don't play with yourself. And that's why hiring a coach, whether it's myself or anyone, is so important, because they will not let you talk yourself into doing something that isn't beneficial to your goals. The way that it would work is you would have a cheat meal, yes, cheat meal, not cheat day, or a refeed day of more things that you already are currently eating, like higher amounts of rice, higher amounts of oats, whatever your body responds better to, which is basically going to recharge your body so that when you go back into a depletion phase or less calories, your body's gonna rev that up, and then you can get lower than you were before. It's very similar to my analogy of being on steroids. It's like you go on steroids, then you come off. Then you go on steroids, then you come off. Some people have done so much metabolic damage to their body in the past from crash dieting, they need to diet, recharge, diet, recharge, diet, recharge. And it's really just about learning if you are that person. As Justin Trudeau would say, it's a small fringe minority that has done so much metabolic damage that they do need to have a cheat meal once a week. And we're also talking in terms of competing versus not competing versus lifestyle. For myself, I have a specific time frame that I need to get ready in, so having that cheat meal once a week will just completely screw over my results. But if you are a lifestyle client of mine, I've been known to give out one cheat meal every 2 weeks, just as a little bit of a recharge to give them motivation into coming down. And I hope that these 3 tips can get you through that plateau and get you absolutely shredded for summer. Crush this food, and then I'm actually gonna do another voiceover. My filmer's busy, so I'm just gonna set up a tripod, bring you through the workout, so I hope you enjoy it. What is going on? I'm about to rock your socks, so sit down, grab a drink, and let's go. So we started this amazing chest day off with bench. I absolutely wanted to kill it. I got myself hyped up all freaking day. Started off with the bar, then did some rotator cuffs. I did some other warm-ups in between here that I just didn't bother filming. But I wanted to go heavy on this. I haven't benched heavy since my back injury, so I kind of wanted to see where my strength lies. As you can see, I'm not really tucking my elbows in like I was in my powerlifting days. I'm trying to keep them a little bit more flared out enough that I can lift heavy weight, but not too much that I'm gonna have shoulder problems. So we did 1 plate for 10, 2 plates for 10. We did 3 plates for 8, and I felt really good. And I was actually getting really good activation on my chest. So decided to go to 405. I did ask the spotter to keep his hands on the bar because we're not fucking powerlifting. I don't care about his fucking hands are touching the fucking bar. I'm trying to activate and grow my chest by doing as many reps as possible with the most amount of weight. So we did 405 for 12. He helped on the last 4 or 5. Going on to incline dumbbell press. Now you can see that I'm really extending my elbows here. I am not tucking my elbows in at all. I'm trying to get the most activation out of this chest. Full range down to the point that I'm touching my chest with the dumbbells all the way up and just squeezing my chest as hard as I possibly can. You can see my arms shaking here. And yes, tucking your elbows in does protect your shoulders, but you do take a lot of tension off your chest by doing that. So just lighten the weight a little bit and really flare those elbows out. I did 50s, 85s, and 100s just for sets of 10 to 12. Moving on to dumbbell flies, took the pump cover off, looking fucking juicy for 8 weeks out. Again, I really am just trying to open up my chest and really squeeze at the top. As you guys know, I always train super fast. Every single edit you see is me training fast. I'm pressing fast like I did the 405. So I want to try a different method to try to grow my chest and really slow it down and get full activation, full active range of motion. So as you can see here, I open it up and I keep my hands more or less open because I feel when you grip something really hard, you start working your biceps and your forearms, and I don't want to do that. So by keeping your hands open and just really just forcing that chest in, just let your hands and your arms follow your chest. Don't try to guide it with your arms because you're going to lose the chest activation. And as you can see here, I'm starting to get those little baby striations. It's feeling a little bit good. As you can see, I do have a little bit of scar tissue, or maybe my gyno came back. I'm hoping it's just scar tissue, but we'll figure out sooner or later. Going on to incline press, I really did 4 sets of this with just 1 plate. And then on my last set, I was like, oh man, I can do a plate and a 25, no problem. But with me flaring my elbows out like this and getting so much active range of motion on the last 3 exercises with my chest, I honestly could only do 6 or 7 reps, and then my shoulders started to take over. So I just wrapped that up and moved on to the next exercise. I'm posing here, just looking fucking unreal. I'm super excited, super happy how my body's coming together right now. Moved on to a machine press. I like to finish on machines because it takes kind of those stabilizers out and I can really just pump it up. As you can see, I did as many reps as possible, and then I just did partials at the end. You can kind of see almost through all my training that if I can't do
more reps towards the end, then I'll just do partials, because partials is still growing. I train alone most of the time, so that is my version of forced reps. Then second last exercise, we did another fly. The only thing that I would recommend here on almost all flies is, I always said try to tuck your chin down, but actually looking at the anatomy of things, try to really look upwards. And you should activate your chest much, much more than looking down. I know that's really hard, especially if there's a mirror in front of you, because you want to look at your fucking juicy pump. But try to keep that head back, which I'm not doing a very good job here, and really stretch and contract that chest. We basically finished the exercise off with dips because the actual dip thing was taken. So you can see I'm not fully locking out my arms here. I'm really just trying to get the outer edge of my chest pumped up, because that is what you see during a side chest. Did like 5 or 6 sets of this with lightweight just to burn it out completely. And then went and did a 45-minute walk, loosened up the back, and we called it a motherfucking day.